Right, hello, I will do the pop-out chat so I can do that on a white screen that makes this a little bit brighter. So pop-out chat, and I want white screen. There we go. So hopefully we get some people on. So the hat we were talking about, although I'll go back so you can just see that there. The hat we were talking about on the previous live stream arrived, but as expected, it's way, way too small for my head. Doesn't even fit my mum. So it can only even, you can see it's too small for the mannequin even. So, yeah. So that's there. That's why I've got this on. So I put that on the mannequin just for today's stream. Yeah, but kind of appropriate hat for talking about modern Britain. So, yeah, hopefully we get some people on. I'm sure there's been quite a few sort of more clown world things going on in the UK, but, you know, off the top of my head, I can't think of all of them. I know there was one where a little girl got arrested for threatening some bloke pedoing on her with a knife and an axe. If you've got a question, go ahead and ask. All right, Maddox? I'm just going to check as well while I've got this on that the microphone's doing 100% volume, because I know sometimes Windows randomly decides to turn it down. It's only obviously if I'm doing this that I'll notice if it's so levels. Yeah, Windows has fucking turned it down again. Right, so that is now set to 100%. There we go. So yeah, for whatever reason, Windows have decided, oh yeah, you know your microphone has a top switch on it for adjusting the volume. Let me override it for no reason. But there we go. Let's go. Flick around with the camera settings at the moment. I'll probably keep that zoomed in a fair bit while we're just doing the normal stream. I'm just doing the might as well get that up there with that hat just slightly in frame. There we go. Right, image, auto exposure. What does low light compensation do? Can't even see if that does much. Oh, I see. It adjusts the frame rate on its own. Yeah, might as well keep that on. Yeah, we'll have auto exposure on. And auto white balance. Yeah, I suppose why not? Can actually manually put the brightness up where it doesn't look awful. So let's do that a little bit. There we go. Right, so anyway, go back to chat a second. Yeah, I said I have. If you have a question, just ask it. Cheers. Again, the hat in. Yeah, exactly. This is if you've been thinking the wrong things online. Yeah, that hat we were on about the other stream came, but yeah, no way in hell is that fitting me as we expected. Because again, this is a 57 centimeter hat and it's pretty tight on my head. That one being like low 50s, yeah, no way in hell that thing's fitting me. So yeah. What's going on in the UK? More anger at the government failing to do anything correctly. You know, like I said, people don't want riots to break out, but I bet you there's going to be riots breaking out. People that were hanging up the English flag, St. George's flag, no, your question didn't show up. In like, you know, public places, some of them have been attacked now. So, you know, it's more likely something's going to kick off because one guy had a petrol bomb thrown at him for trying to put up a flag. You know, and all that. So, yeah, it's UK is UK. It's about what you'd expect. Yeah, your question, Maddox, obviously has a word in it YouTube doesn't like, would be my guess of that. So whether it's something like asbestos or whatever that they don't let you say anymore. There's so many words on YouTube now that because of safety reasons, they just hide the comments and they shadow ban them. So it's not even like I see it and it shows up as a comment, you know, like held for review or whatever. They just physically show up on your screen, but on nobody else's PC will the comment show up. So M61 Finnish gas mask. Are you asking, is the filter safe? If you've got any of the filters that are probably 1970s or onwards, as far as I'm aware, yeah, obviously there's still a risk that anything in the filter could leak out if there's a rip in the filter due to age, but they didn't use asbestos in them, no. I think there's chromium in it anyway, but that's another thing you don't want to breathe in, but like I said, it's not as bad as asbestos. So that's that. And like I said, the most recent thing that sort of went viral was where a little girl was having to use an axe and a knife to defend herself and her sister from some pervy immigrant bloke filming them. And then, of course, the little girl's been arrested. Apparently, the bloke has been arrested, at least, for like being a nonce, as you'd expect. But there's all the sort of regular type people online blaming the little girl and her parents for the fact that, yeah, this country's gone to such a shit state that little kids are probably carrying knives so they don't get SA'd by, dirty nonces, basically. No idea, Taxico, because, again, don't look at much to do with community type stuff. And in terms of market, again, I only really see what turns up on eBay over here, and there's not been much at the moment that's turned up on, thing. But like I said, because I've got nearly all the masks I want at the moment, I've got too many masks, I've got too much stuff cluttering everything up. Ooh, not the microphone then. It's one of those things where I don't really look for masks, especially because that's when I'm meant to be saving my money, I'll be, end up looking and buying stuff I shouldn't be wasting my money on. That's the point. While this stream's going on, I'm just going to see if I can actually find out how long one of my parcels is finally going to take to get to delivery, because it's one I bought a couple of weeks ago, but I don't actually know. Again, the problem is I can't remember what the name of the website was I bought from. Let me just search parcel and then look for something that isn't AliExpress. There's one on the that's 7th of August. That's way too long ago. Yeah, no, never mind. I'm going to have to physically look at what the date was the payment went out on my bank account and then check what the name of the website was, because I can't remember now. Saying that, if there's no new comments in the thing, let me actually have a quick look if I can find it again. So it will see if I can find a website I bought them from. That's it. Electronic Surplus was the name of the site. So if I now go to Gmail, let's see if I've got an email from them. Is there a way I can actually track my thing on their website? Because if not, that's a bit annoying. Anyway, it's 10th of August. Probably ought to give it another week or two before I start sending off things saying. So again, I don't think I've got an account, because I think you could just do it as a guest when, yeah, you could when I bought this thing. So anyway, no new comments yet. So Yeah, that's a bit annoying if I'm going to have to spend ages even just finding out if I've got a tracking number for this thing. Again, open the chat again. A stalker of an oil lamp says, have you seen the camouflage hoods that go that? I've got one. If you look on my channel, I've got the raindrop hood for the M10M. I think it's designed actually for the standard M10 because it doesn't quite fit properly on an M10M. All right, which one were you watching? Tessie YX, if that's how your name's pronounced. But yeah, it's going to be so from. Let me just search .it and just see that way if I can see anything set from in Italian. No, because oh, here we go. Your order has been shipped. Oh, from literally today. Okay, so your order has been shipped. So it was just one of those people that was really, really fucking slow, which does really annoy me when you order stuff online. As in, I will put it on a good postage option, but whoops, it took me 3 weeks to post your parcel, kind of thing. Actually, if it was about the 10th, it's been 16 days, but yeah. Oh, video about Russia and then there was one of the Vatniks going, it is not true. Russia is a brilliant country. I love Putin so much, even though he steals everything from us, and he lives in his little bunker surrounded by flak towers, while our oil refineries explode. But Russia is a brilliant country. Where I've been playing Dawn of War again, because Warhammer 40k, the orcs in Warhammer are literally how the modern Russian army operates. It's not even like, it is funny, but it's not even funny that, you know, it's just like a looting, marauding mob of, you know, orcs. But yeah. But yes. My refinery is on fire. Where is the proofs? Speaking about Russian stuff, though, do I still have the thing on my desk, or did I put it somewhere else? I know it's over there. The Russian Geiger counter that tells you your dose in Rontgens, even though it doesn't display Rontgens on the unit. Still quite an interesting meter. But, yes. So yes, as usual, I am doing stream, and YouTube is not sending people the notification. Again, if I did a vertical one on my phone, I bet you it has sent it to more people. But the typical problem is that, obviously, if you do a stream with a good webcam, good microphone, YouTube punishes you for it. Because YouTube has now just completely gone down the thing of vertical streams, vertical shorts. Even though, like I said before, the funny and annoying thing, some of it is solid full of stuff. That side is boxes, like storage crates, ammo tins, and stuff like that. That side is all just, oh, there's a plastic box there. That's a dosimeter reader. But yeah, that's mostly just a massive pile of gas masks and camouflage clothing. And riot helmets and things like that. Because again, I had somebody earlier saying, oh, why don't you do it more organized? Because when it is organized and then people want to see it for a stream, it always ends up messy. So I don't try and organize this stuff anymore, because if I do it, you know, it's even slower to put back. So it's now like a mystery thing of what's behind me. And yeah, some of the stuff in the other rooms is better organized. But again, I've just got too much stuff that, you know, you can't organize it well. And again, the annoying thing is the walls in this house don't support weight on them, other than like that little radiation thing there. Most of the stuff you can't put weight on these walls. So everything has to be like a freestanding bookcase. You can't have wall shelving. All right, Rajiv? I was just complaining before my thing I was currently saying about YouTube not sending the notifications out as well as it would have done if I did it on a regular phone stream. Oh, what I did do, because I, you know, like I said, everything is just kind of optimized for mobile now, is I did buy one of these quite good quality like little camera tripods with the all that stuff, just so what was I going to say? Just so it kind of reminds me of a stun stick from Half-Life 2, the look of this. But yeah, just so I could physically actually make a bit higher quality videos when I'm forced to do stuff on mobile, because that's the only thing YouTube wants to promote. Best gas mask ever. I see what you mean by a lightsaber thing, actually. Yeah, like yeah, then like you'd have the beam come out that bit of it, and that would be the on switch. Yeah. So going back to gas masks, Avon FM53s or FM54s are probably the best ones. I've got the C50 in my actual like bug out armor, and that's probably the best mask I own. But again, it's sometimes it's personal preference. I don't know what those are. Cry, isn't that a country that not country, a company that does camo and that? And no, I've never bought any of their stuff. So how their stuff varies from any actual military stuff used by any country, I couldn't tell you. But if they're charging you $300 odd for a pair of trousers, I think you're probably being ripped off, would be my guess. They might be good quality, but they're definitely not $300 worth of, trousers quality. Again, stuff like that you could probably either get as surplus for like $20 to $30 or pounds, or buy a Chinese ripoff that's probably made to a similar standard. The only thing that looks in any different than any other trousers to me on there is the actual knee pads on them, which is actually quite a nice thing on military trousers, the ones which have the knee pads, so when you're kneeling it doesn't hurt your knees. But no, for that kind of money, their new price, I would certainly say no, it's not worth that money. But again, I've never worn them, but I can't see how they would be so much better than any of the like cheaper trousers. Yeah, again, but the plate carriers, do they make their own plates? Because again, the plate carriers still, I wouldn't know what would make them specifically better than anybody else's. It's like one of those things that with a plate carrier, it's literally down to, is it robust enough? It's not going to rip. Does it have a quick release system you want or whatever? Then it's all down to the quality of the armored plates you put in it, not the, Gucci sort of branded stuff. Again, like I said, the armor I've got I'll use isn't a plate carrier. It's a full-on soft body armor with plates combo. What's a JPC? What, one of their carriers? Again, like I said, that's a plate carrier. I don't like the look of it because I like proper body armor. Like I said, because like I said, if you're into that, fine. But like I said, I don't see why you'd spend the money on that, in all honesty. Jack boots. I've got some old East German jack boots somewhere that are only just about my size. Otherwise, decent quality leather lace-up boots. For work, I can't really wear boots like that. Not like I'm banned from wearing them or anything, but for work, where I work, they're not practical, so I have to have more like those trainery type boots. Like that aren't that high, that mostly just like quite soft inside for the standing up for 10 hours. But plate carriers are literally just for plates. Actual combat vests, like body armor, is soft armor paneling with plates as well. So basically, it's like a flak jacket, if you like, with plates, with a pocket for plates. And Ukraine and everything has proved that plate carriers don't really cut it unless you're, just a police entry team. And I said this on the video I did for plate carriers recently, that because you've only got, the only armor you have is the front and back plate, your stomach and all around there is completely exposed to shrapnel and whatever else. So yeah, it's plate carriers are one of those things that outside of very specialist roles, they're basically useless. Because like I was saying, that basically most militaries prior to plates becoming a thing had soft body armor, like Kevlar, ballistic nylon and Kevlar for flak jackets. And then basically most militaries now have that kind of jacket where you just put a front and back plate in it. The problem with plate carriers is basically they just barely cover any of your body. So it's very, very lightweight. Again, like I did a video on it recently, if you check it out, that body armor that I've set up. But again, like I said, there's different ones for different countries. I think the US used to have one called, was it the Interceptor vest? So yeah, look up, say, a US Interceptor vest, and you'll see what I mean. Like armor that's designed to be both. It has both plates in and the thing. I think the Interceptor vest is the one that had plates in as well. Yeah, you can see the plate pocket on it. But there's probably much more modern, nicer stuff than that now. A bit like the stuff I'm using. But yeah, I was saying militaries don't use just plate carriers other than maybe certain things. What's side loading, Ivy? I have no idea what that is. Is that a thing where people load the videos to get around ad blocking or something? I don't know. I don't even know what you're on about. Or is it something to do with Android on an operating system or whatever? Well, boots, is that, Raju? Oh, that's a good idea, David. Yeah, beeswax is meant to be quite good, is not on leather and other fabrics. Oh, what, like jailbreak stuff? I mean, that's a bit bollocks, because obviously a lot of stuff doesn't stuff on the App Store have to meet a load of criteria that doesn't necessarily even, because there's still scam apps. That's the thing on the Play Store. How bad depends what the laws are in regards to what, guns or what. We could have full-on body armor over here that keeps surprising people from some countries where body armor is restricted, like I was saying. But only stuff that's restricted regarding that sort of stuff here is, like I said before, firearms type stuff. And even then, there's different grey areas and stuff that isn't banned and on different licenses. But yeah, like I said, otherwise it's not too bad with that sort of stuff. But again, other than some of the weird knife laws, and again, the problem is over here is you get lots of the weird laws where like a very specific ban comes in because of the fact there's been some sort of like high profile crime. So a government to pretend they're doing something to fix the like crime rather than actually sorting out crime, and that just does a really simple ban that is always shit. But that's how the government here and in a lot of countries work, is that rather than fixing anything properly, they do the sort of, we're going to ban this type of knife or whatever. No, I'm not the person, Scout, you'd have to ask on that. You'd have to ask people that actually know stuff about 3D printers. But from what I know is basically nearly all 3D printing stuff, at least as of a year or so ago, is permeable. So the answer would be no. You need it really made out of metal or made in a proper, like, casting sort of factory for plastics and rubbers, not actual, like mold sort of made. Mold injected or whatever. Yeah, you could have magazine reloadable rifles here. That's not banned if you've got the license of the rifles or whatever. But there's no restrictions here regarding like mag limit size to a gun as long as you legally own it. But yeah, that's the main problem, Scout, is that a lot of those sort of things that, again, I don't think it's going to really let normal air through. But the problem is that, yeah, supposedly lots of chemicals can easily penetrate like 3D printed stuff because it's not, like, again, made from stuff. Like I said, I've had some absolute like shite stuff I've ordered that's been 3D printed like that, that just falls apart because it's made out of really crap, low quality 3D printed plastic. So you'd first have to get something that's made decently, and then you'd still have to be aware that it's probably going to be porous to some degree. But yeah, like I said, the old proper filter adapters for masks were either made of metal with rubber washers, or they were made from injection molded plastic, I would assume it was, with washers because they, you know, predated 3D printers, and that was how you had to do it with that sort of stuff. Not, like I said, because the problem with 3D printing is obviously how it works. It's not, you know, a solid chunk of plastic in a sense. I think 3D printing's cool, don't get me wrong, but it's one of those things I don't think that's what it's really designed to be used for. I don't know, Kenny. Again, like I said, you'd have to ask the people knowledgeable about all this stuff. I actually really don't know. But all I know is, like I said, that apparently, according to the people that do know, that, you know, I trust their opinions on it, every single one of those has said do not use 3D printed gas mask components because they leak. Using old Soviet filters is not a good idea because of what's in them. As I've said before, again, it's your own life, but I cannot in any way encourage anybody on here to do anything as stupid as breathing through old Soviet filters. Again, like I said, if you want to use a Soviet filter, what you want to do is get one of the more modern style ones that is actually made from a safe material. Did I put that gas mask in another room? I think I did, didn't I? The one that was I showed the other day. Yeah, so I can't get that out from behind me because I think that I was going to put it on, but annoyingly, I think that mask I actually put away in a different room, so I can't, yeah, just get it out to show you at the moment. Right, Firebird. Part of the problem with that is because I'm not doing it via my phone in a vertical format, so YouTube doesn't share it properly. Because, like I've said before, is YouTube does this really annoying thing now where, because they try and promote shorts so much and like streams from mobile phones, it's all completely done via, what do you call it? Like the vertical videos sort of thing. Stalker, again, I'm going to time you out for this. Again, I don't want to ban you, but don't give people dodgy advice like that, because again, there is asbestos in old Soviet filters and they can leak. So, like I said, don't tell people to wear them. If people decide to do it and it's, you know, of their own volition or whatever, it's fine. But you cannot possibly, as a, like, you know, good conscience thing, say, here's a filter that contains asbestos, breathe through it, there'll be no issues whatsoever. As exceedingly low as a risk might be, that's one of those things that, no, I'm not okay with people just, you know, stating it like it's not a problem. So there you go, you've got your timeout. When your timeout expires, hopefully you've learnt your lesson. But it's one of those things where when people keep doing that, I just ban them. You should be working, said you're here. The government said he looks so hot. Well, I'm sure the government does want to arrest me, so there's that. But thank you. But yeah, knowing Mr. Keir Starmer, the flag in the background, right-wing fuggery, have you arrested? You're one of those far rights. Yeah, and for the people that weren't on when I said, that hat did come that people were saying about the other stream, but like I predicted, the brim size is way too small for my head, so there's no way I can even wear it. The Gurkha sort of slouch, not slouch hat. Oh, is it a slouch hat? Like those sort of. Yeah, the thing is, well, it's not up to me if I get arrested or not, is it? Basically, it's if you live in what's fast becoming a police state, if you get arrested because you say things that are true online but the government doesn't like them, you don't have much control over that. Other than not living in Britain, I can't think of a way that you can actually speak the truth anymore in this country and not get arrested. Because of the fact that, yeah, there's been so many people now charged with because they've just said stuff that's factually correct but the government didn't like. Let's have a look at what the latest stuff is going on in this country. I'm sure the BBC won't be covering it properly. Oh, they are now actually covering that Nigel said he's prepared to deport 600,000 people in his first term. Oh, and a nonce told a girl he wanted to have a baby. Yeah, Epping hotel migrant, so illegal immigrant chancer. He told her age doesn't matter as he tried to kiss an underage girl, and he said that he wanted to have Jamaican babies. And his name is Hadush Gebelashi Kabatu from Ethiopia. So they wouldn't be Jamaican babies, would they? They'd be Ethiopian babies. And he said to the little girl, if you come back to the hotel, we can have sex and have lovely babies. And again, like I said, this is what the government is using our taxpayers' money for. So, yeah. And then everybody is far-right racist if we oppose illegal immigrants being given, like, luxury accommodation at our expense, and then they go out and commit horrible crimes because they come from backwards cultures, which is, again, another probably racist thing. Can we still comment on YouTube? Virginia Reenactor says, well, you've just commented there, haven't you? So I would guess so. So yeah, there's that. So like I said, that's what's going up and down the country is illegal immigrants, when they come over, are given more rights than the people that actually live here and pay taxes, that are real citizens, and then they get victimized by these foreign criminals. It's not very easy to move to the US if you're somebody that actually wants to contribute. You're being filtered. It's probably because you're typing in lots of stuff, Virginia Reenactor, that YouTube has got on their banned list of words, and we're not allowed to know what that banned list of words is. No, it's the government's a draconian shitbag sort of thing over here, and people get rightfully angry. And again, people should be very careful. I should move to Iran. No, what a stupid idea. Goodbye. But yeah, we get a lot of, like I was saying, there's a lot of stuff where the government terrorizes people, and people are rightfully angry. And I'd certainly agree that people are so fed up, and they need to be very careful about what they say or do, because, like we said, nobody wants people with legitimate points being arrested and made easy sort of, criminals by the government. But yeah, the problem is that, yeah, you can't just say, oh, I'm going to accept everything now, because, I don't know if that's what you're getting at, Kenny, but I do get that weird concern trolling from a load of people that, oh, you ought to be careful about opposing anything the government does. Just go along with it. It's safer. It's like, no, people are fed up now. That's not happening anymore. And again, it's probably, like they're saying, it's probably not going to be 4 years or so until a general election now in the UK. Because, oh, you got your flag up. Good on you, Peach. Because of just how fed up everybody is and how much Labour have taken the piss in just the 1 year they've been in. Like I said, Tories were shit as well, don't get me wrong, but Labour have come in, oh, we're going to fix everything, oh, we lied to get into power, and now we're just as bad as the last lot. You can't post links, Virginia Reenactor, as a commenter on anything. There might be certain things where it is allowed, but in general, YouTube will start, like, doing things to your account if you try and post links, so just don't do it on YouTube. But yeah, on YouTube, you basically, as a commenter, can't post any sort of link. Sometimes they even block you if you try and post a link to another YouTube video on YouTube. So yeah, you basically can't post links. I've noticed on some sites as well, you get shadow banned if you post things that make it sound like you're promoting something even when you're not. Because I did comment on one thing, it wasn't YouTube, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, and I got shadow banned off of there for a while because they thought I was trying to advertise some sort of gambling site. That's all right, Stalker, again, don't do it again. Don't suggest people breathe through old dangerous filters. No, the best way, Scout, if you don't get laser eye surgery, is to get your prescription lenses fitted to the mask. So basically what you do is, in nearly every modern mask, you can get like a glasses insert for them. So you just have to get the ones that are the right sort of style to fit in your mask, get an optician to make them to your prescription or whatever. and do that. If you want to do it on the cheap, what you do is you get an old pair of glasses you don't want anymore, so probably like not even your current ones or your last set of spares, and then you take the arms off of them and then like glue them in with just the nose bit where it should be or whatever. Yes, then contact lenses work. It's just that, you know, they're not the only way of doing it. And like I was saying, what is recommended in nearly every military, they don't tell you to get contact lenses if you wear glasses. You get a prescription for your glasses fitted to the mask. So yeah, so like I said, the UK at the moment, yeah, Howitt Productions has been there for a week or so, and I've got my hat on that would be the type that Kia's Fort Police will be going around. Are you throwing anything right wing? Yep, swords are still legal in the UK. Again, you can't just take one out. Tell you what, I'm gonna move where this scabbard is on this one, so when I show it, I don't have to risk stabbing a wire every time. I'll make sure I get that in frame. But yes, you can't go around waving swords in public, but other than a few types of banned swords that, again, are due to weird government kind of shit, swords are perfectly legal for inside your house and everything else. And like I've said before, as much as I can't encourage anybody to do anything, you know, if somebody broke into your house and was trying to kill you or something and you owned one of these swords, I think it would go better for you than the person breaking into your house, wouldn't it? To say it in a way, there goes the sign, and I think that's the Canadian C4 gas mask rolling off there. That sign's just where the Chinese now do reprints of World War II propaganda things. Although you can see that I need to put it under something flat and heavy because it's got bent in transit. It's like this is like an Italian World War II propaganda one. But, you know, like the tin sort of wall signs, but they were only like a few quid on AliExpress, so I ordered a few different types of them. There we go, that's wedged in now. But yes, this is a NATO filter on my desk. Other than YouTube, I won't say a stallion just because I've had people dox me and all that shit before. So, for all accounts and purposes, it's nobody's interest that comes on here. Because, like I said, just because a few weirdos ruin it for everyone else. And again, it's one of those things where I'm not necessarily going to stick around doing one job forever. So, like I said, at one point, YouTube ad revenue used to be really good. I could do that. That's all right. I used to do YouTube as a full-time thing. And then, like, it's one of those things now where it's only a tiny bit of my income. No, curved swords aren't banned at all. There's some rule, I think, on curved stainless steel bits of, like, stamped metal, but not proper forged swords, no. But, yeah, so basically it's one of those things where, yeah, YouTube now is only, like, quite a small bit of my income just because of the fact that the ad revenue is so bad on YouTube now. And like I said, the problem is as well with shorts and all the stuff, like the things to do with shorts is even if they share shorts more, the ad revenue is less than 10% of what you'd get on a regular video for the same type of views. I don't know what you're asking there, Virginia Reenactor. The Forshida mask is really good. I've said that over and over again on videos of it, that it's one of my favourite masks ever. It's just a shame I don't have the military, you know, like whatever it's called, 90 variant with the This doesn't look like the Metro Cop mask Scout. The Metro Cop mask is like the Soviet PMG or Shums one. Yeah, this is the Canadian one. I think they're finally replacing now, but it's got quite good big alien eyes on this. Bit of a weird question from the government. Again, like I said, when people start asking weird personal questions on these, that's when I get rid of them. Because again, it's like when you come on these and you just want to have a chat, when people start getting stuff where it looks like, oh, what's your job? And then, you know, what else do you do? I know that's Ask Ellie and Moss, that, but when people start asking like all the things where it's like, oh, I'm going to, they're, you know, trying to data mine your personal info. That's why I get rid of it. Anyway, you know, it could be government bots. Regarding Helmet Productions, I think it's good they've said fuck you to the government. So basically, the government is now going to have to try and get every ISP to ban 4chan, aren't they? Because 4chan have said, fuck off, we're not doing your online safety bullshit. Which is good. But like I said, and then people would still be able to access it via a VPN, so nothing really changes. But yeah, the Online Safety Act, like we said, is complete bollocks, because maybe it does a little bit to protect kids, but it's mostly there so, you know, all your data can be harvested and people aren't as anonymous online, because lots of websites, oh, it's whited out the camera there. You see where you said Hammerfell residence? I thought normally the word is Redguard for that, isn't it? But oh yeah, I did hear about this. So yes, it's a contingency, but our benign government is apparently buying like these kind of massive body storage facilities, which is apparently like a little porter cabin tent marquee thing that they can randomly take to the mass casualty event and put all the people's fragmented body parts in, or whatever they said it was, like intact and, you know, bodies missing heads and legs. And wonder what that's for. Is it that the government is going to do something horrible to the population and therefore they want some, you know, essentially just dumping pits for lots of corpses at once? Is it that there's some false flag terrorist sort of thing going to happen and they want that sort of stuff ready for that? Or is it just a case of they are genuinely like, oh, we probably ought to have some sort of like deployable truck corpse storage stuff for no reason whatsoever? Again, it is one of those very strange things. Why is the government buying all this like stuff to randomly? And again, but if it's because they think there's going to be a lot of violence in this country, that's what everybody thinks now. And like we said, none of us want that to happen. But like we said, where the country has been so fucking mismanaged now for such a long times, you know, because the country's been so mismanaged now for such a long time by the last set of few governments, and everything's gone to shit, that, like I said, it is likely there will be violent insurrection against the government, you know, random imported communities in the country deciding to fight each other over whatever. You know, so again, it's, as Sadiq Khan said, part and parcel of living in a multicultural city or whatever it is, that, you know, the government has turned this country into such a crime-ridden shithole with, you know, such a powder keg waiting to go off. Maybe that's why they think they need it, because the government's going to do something stupid, people get angry, and then, whoops, we have to shoot into crowds of people. Be careful what you say, Helmet Productions. Not that I disagree with you or anything. It's just that that's the sort of thing where even if you're saying it wouldn't surprise me if that happens, they might think you're saying, oh, you want that to happen now, do you? Yeah, but the question is now, Tex, is stuff like that going to end up result in violence being spread a bit more around because people being fed up to the point of, you know, everything collapsing, if that makes sense. And again, it's like I said, I don't know. Is the genuine, honest answer to all this? I don't know, because, like I said, this country's been run into a fucking state. So, yeah, just getting that little bit as even as I can again. Little, Guten Morgen. Eine Paparen. But yeah, like I said, at the moment, nearly every like media thing you listen to thinks the country's in a like position where something is going to kick off over here. Like I said, most people are saying they don't want it to happen. Obviously, it's just that when people get so fed up and angry, and the government doesn't listen to anything people say, it's only a matter of time when that sort of stuff's going to happen. Yeah, like I said, like a lot of people have said, it's what happened in Rhodesia, what happened in South Africa. Yeah, is that happening in the UK? Probably similar sort of things. The Israeli M15 is good, yes. Yeah, why would the government want to store bodies for identification? Yeah, after something big happens, and again, some of the claims, the government hasn't even made its own defense of why it needs it, but some of the people have said it's in case there's another COVID or something. But they managed without those sort of facilities fine last time. But again, it's because it sounds like they can just deploy, a thing for like 700 bodies somewhere. It sounds like they're, gonna be trucking them to wherever something kicks off. England already looks worse than Threads in some areas. And again, I've got my English little horn for the for the clown world we live in. So yeah, that's a very relevant prop I bought for this clown world, clown country, clown world, eh? So yeah, but like I said, what else is in the news that sounds about right for this country? Oh, Keir Starmer is now open to return deal with Afghanistan after Nigel Farage outlined deportation plans. So that's funny, isn't it? That when one of the other political parties threatens to actually deal with stuff, the government is having to now go, oh, we might actually do something that we said was previously impossible, even though people voted for it. A staggering number of asylum seekers who have disappeared since small boats crisis began. What's the number then? Oh, over 71,000. So over 71,000 people have been lost by the government who came into the country illegally. Is that in Dutch or Afrikaans? I'm gonna have to translate that because I don't know. You've been following me since COVID, well, yeah. The same. I knew it looked like a bit like Dutch, so yeah, Afrikaans is pretty similar, isn't it? What, a penny farthing? Didn't penny farthings become weirdly popular with hipsters because of the fact that, again, anyway, I'm trying to think if there's much else. I am going to do a video probably tomorrow at this point because it's getting on a bit now today, outlining a load of the shit that is going on in England. Because weirdly, the political videos I've done recently are way more popular than my normal videos, and I still will do the normal videos, but I might as well do one just explaining all of like the protests in the UK and stuff regarding our flag and all the stuff of it really triggering people, and all the shit that's going on with yeah, see you, Kenny, like I said, government overreach and whatever else. The only camo hood I've got for one of my gas masks, as I said, Stalker, is the one on my M10. And I said I've done a video on that, so just look at the video on it. But I can't do ones for ones I don't have. And that's the only one time I think I've ever seen pictures of camo hoods, the gas masks. Other than camo NBC suits, where you can obviously put the hood up over a gas mask. Otherwise, no, I'm not doing anything to that flag. It's a bit crap behind me because there's not really anywhere to hang it up properly. I could do it on the wall, but then people go, oh, I can't see the stuff in the background. But yeah, so the stuff with the flag, if you don't know, Virginia Reenactor, is what people have started doing over here now because we're so sick of it, is where Palestine flags and all the gay pride flags and everything have been put up, and you can say that's fine for people to put those up or whatever. People are like, well, we're going to put up, the flag of St. George, the English flag. Funny enough, very similar to the Georgian flag because it's for the same saint, basically. So people started putting them up, and then governments and certain groups got very, very upset about it. Our flag getting put up, the flag that actually belongs to the country. Because again, England is part of the UK, so the Union Jack or the Union flag has the St. George's flag in it, combined with the Ulster flag and the Scottish flag, and everything. But the point is that it's upsetting a lot of people. But now the good thing is it's making people have to say out in public why they don't like the flag. And is it that you don't like anything English or anything to do with the history of this country? So it's the case where, yeah, exactly, Peach. So we're saying when there's especially been councils that were happy for Palestine flags and that to be put everywhere, why do they suddenly have an issue with the English flag anymore? And like in Birmingham, they won't take people's rubbish away, and there's just bin bags and trash piling up in the streets, but they're paying people to go rip down the English flag if people put it up because they're feeling patriotic. Oh, so I guess all the queers for Palestine type people were a bit upset, Tex, were they? Even though anybody with a brain would see that those sort of two groups wouldn't naturally get along. It's interesting you got that to show up on here, Stalk with an oil lantern, because I know certain versions, I don't know if it's the Union Jack, when people do it in the comments on videos now, it just shows up as a black flag, where it's actually been censored either by YouTube or the British government censored people from seeing it. Maybe it's a different variant of the flag emoji. But yeah, so it's done this quite interesting thing now where it's forced, it's forced certain people to kind of reveal what they think about other people in this country, if you like. Yeah, the pirate flag, Peach. Oh, it is black on your end. Ah, that's interesting, Virginia Reenactor. Why don't they want people showing that flag in the comments? But again, that's kind of funny, isn't it? We're going to censor your flag so it's the black flag. Oh, does that mean we're just going to kill them all then? Yeah, because they're censoring, the black flag, sir. Yeah, no prisoners. That's a weird thing. The government's urging us to do that, is it? They're taking it a bit too far then. But yeah, so what people have also been doing, which is quite funny, is painting potholes in, like holes in the road where the local councils don't want to fix them because it costs money and they'd rather waste their money on other stuff. So people have been painting over potholes with St. George's flags, so they are forced to fill them in because they don't like the flags being there. And people have also now in places like Birmingham been sticking St. George's flags on the rubbish because it's, then if they're going to take it away, they'll get rid of the rubbish. Yep. Right, so Stalk of an Oil Lantern, I can see the stars and stripes there, St. George's flag, the Israeli flag, and the Union Jack. Or Union flag, because Jack is when it's on a ship, but... Oh yeah, I wonder why it only censors the English flag, because English people aren't allowed a national identity anymore. Again, this is what part of the thing is. In Wales and Scotland, I have absolutely no problem with, obviously, for obvious reasons, people in other countries having their flags. So good on the Welsh for having the dragon flag up. Good on the Scots having St. Andrew's flag up. But isn't it funny that just the English aren't allowed a flag? And that's the sort of funny thing now, is it? Like I said, it's forcing a lot of these people to come out and say the quiet part out loud, that they really don't like the people that live here, and that, this country is basically just a thing that they're here for, freebies, Yeah, so you got the Welsh flag there and the Scottish flag. They've shown up for me. Don't know if they will for other people. But yeah, I wonder who's putting pressure on to have the St. George's cross censored. Out of interest, does the Georgia flag work? Not for the state of Georgia, but as in the country of Georgia. It's censored the Welsh and the Scots now, has it as well? So, yes. Yeah, I can see the Georgian flag. So that's basically our flag. It's just got 4 little versions of the cross in each corner. So does the Georgian flag work for other people? If so, people have to spam that in the comments on things where it censors the English flag. It's just interesting when you start to notice things like that, isn't it? Good. So country Georgia, their flag isn't censored, which again is related to our flag because it's based off of the same like biblical saint, if you like, which is, like I said, why it became popular over here, because it was the Crusaders that made it popular, which again, it might be because of the Crusaders they don't like these flags. But yes, anyway, so yeah, I'll probably tomorrow film a video just about all the clown country stuff going on in the UK. And like I said, I do know that a lot of people all around the world now are looking at this with quite a lot of interest, what's going on in here. Either just, I suppose, a popcorn waiting for it to kick off so they can watch the fireworks and enjoy the popcorn with that, or just out of deep concern for it. But yeah, it's gone from being kind of in the UK recently, that kind of constant depressing, grinding down of the country going to shit, to where it actually feels like something interesting might happen, as in there might be light at the end of the tunnel. Either a government gets voted in that actually sorts the country out, or stuff goes very, very badly wrong. But it looks to a lot of people like it's not going to be in that constant, like, slow decline, withering away. Because that's how I describe it to a lot of people. The UK is kind of like if you're terminally ill, and every government that comes in promising to fix stuff doesn't, and it just gets worse. So the country carries on, it just gets worse and worse, quality of life goes down more and more and more. Yeah, and if it's a train, there's going to be an almighty interesting crash for people to watch that aren't in the UK. And if I'm over here, I suppose you won't need winter fuel anymore because of all the burning buildings. Yeah, but like you said, Stalker, this is the interesting thing now, isn't it? And there's also some far left parties you could vote for. If you don't like reform, there's probably going to be ones that are further right of reform. Because the funny thing with Horseshoe is the far left and far right parties are the ones that actually sound kind of sensible to some degree. And the people that don't sound sensible are the centrist sort of conservative, Labour, Liberal sort of coalition, sort of uni party that, always say, oh, we'll blame the government when we're not in it and we'll fix it when you vote us in. But then they do the exact same shit. They're like the exact same party. And again, even with Labour, where people go, oh, at least Labour weren't as corrupt as the Tories. They've had so many Labour MPs doing corrupt shit since they've been voted in and all that. Oh, and the other thing they don't like you mentioning is the 2-tier stuff, isn't it? I did see he finally got his guns back, which is good, because his guns got seized when the police raided him, didn't they? But he did get all of his guns back, which is good, because there's a picture of him with a wheelbarrow pushing a load of shotguns and rifles in the wheelbarrow. So good on him getting his guns back, I guess. Again, some of the stuff he says I agree with. Other stuff I think he's just dividing the right, or whatever you want to call it, because that's the problem with any of these sort of things, is you can get a situation where rather than people with similar interests working together, they all attack each other. I don't know if they were all double barrels, actually. Virginia reenactor without looking. He might have had some pumps or semi-autos, or just single barrel brake actions. I don't know. But most of them are like over-unders in the picture I could see where they're in his wheelbarrow. Wheelbarrow. I keep wanting to call it a wheelbarrow now. Wheelbarrow. Yeah, Fud Guns. Because he's the MP for Great Yarmouth, isn't he? And there's a lot of farmland around there, boggy farmland. And like I said, I did buy this, so when I do inevitably film more videos on my phone, because they're the only ones YouTube shows people, I can at least do it using a proper little, tripod for, hang on, I can't remember which way you meant to do it first when you lock it, is it? That's that bit I was meant to pull out, but it's actually quite a long telescopic stick, this one. Yeah, I definitely don't need a tripod that high, but like I said, it is nice actually having one that fits my phone now, because the problem is I've got like a bulky sturdy phone, a lot of tripods and camera mounts don't fit them. So that is actually surprisingly big, and It's actually built quite solidly. You wouldn't want this in your pocket and somebody to smack you at that. That would actually probably hurt if they did it hard enough. Everyone's packing around here. Farmers mums. I'm afraid I'm just off in a minute though, Caesar. But thank you for coming on anyway. So yeah, tomorrow I will do a video on the Clown World UK stuff. And like I said, at least I have got a camera mount now, so I can do selfie and landscape videos. Get out. What about miners? I've completely missed the thing. We were on about Hot Fuzz when with the quote farm packing around here. But yeah, like I said, I imagine again it's one of those things that you can't legally in the UK because of our laws carry anything on you for self-defense, but something could be at hand if you're attacked. The greater good. And if you had one of those that was purely metal constructed, this one is metal and plastic and does still feel quite sturdy. But I bet you if somebody had one of these that was full-on metal construction, this would be basically a pretty good baton sort of, you know, this is kind of like Maglite feeling, sort of, you know, sides. If you're on about miners, I'll do a dirty joke, politically incorrect joke to end the stream. So when Jimmy Savile went to hell, he saw Margaret Thatcher there and he said, why are you here? Oh, he's doing this. Why are you here? Why are you here, Maggie? Why are you in hell? And she said, fucking miners. And he said, oh, same. That wasn't even fucking Jimmy at the end, that voice. But now then. But yeah. There you go. There's a fucked up, politically incorrect joke for the end of the stream. But yeah, so hopefully I'll do a stream tomorrow and everything. Like I said, I want to get a video film tomorrow. And like I said, because the politics ones are more popular at the moment, I will just do one that's a few minutes long, just talking about a load of shit going on in the UK. So you can hear it from my point of view of everything I've heard that's going on and that. But yeah, like we were saying about these asylum hotels, there is one in my area that has literally had a rape done by one of the people in it, you know, that's now all in the court process. Oh, and speaking of stuff like that, weirdly, it was just down the road from me where Farage did his thing today. I didn't really even realise that at the time, but yeah, he did it at Kidlington Oxford Airport, which is down the road from me. It's the one I can pick up on my radio if I turn my radio on.
Welcome, frequency mode.
And it's the one where I need to put this on my body armor. That was a thing I was going to do and I forgot to do recently. So if ever I pick up any chatter on here, I have it on the right frequency. It's that airfield there. That was the one he was in one of the hangars doing his thing today. One of the things that I think Farage said that was quite sensible on today's thing, whether you like him or not, don't like reform or not, or whatever, was the fact him saying, look, when they're going, oh, but if you send these people back to some of these countries, they might get killed or tortured. And it's basically tough. If they've broken into this country and they commit crimes, sorry, it's not really our problem if when we send you back to your hellhole, you know, they, you know, do something bad to you and get back. Because a lot of politicians are so fucking scared of saying that, but it's not our fucking problem. And again, they've come through so many safe countries to, you know, claim asylum in the UK, and it's just because our benefit system's nice to them. It is a Quan Sheng something or other. Hype sent at me. I don't know the exact model name. There you go. Again, at the moment, nobody's doing any chatter on the airfield, otherwise you'd be hearing it. But again, because I think because my face is in focus, there we go. Yeah, like I said, it's quite a good thing. It's the other one I've got I quite like is a Radtel, which is similar to this one. Like I said, I'm not really super into radios. I like them when they're easy to set up like those, you know, and just so with a bit of body armor you could tune into like various people and talk to various people if you're in some sort of local militia or whatever. Aren't Chinese listening devices basically every single piece of technology that comes out of China? Like, you know, Chinese smartphone listens to you, Chinese car with all the electronics in it listens to you. You know, you get the China will grow larger quote from the China dozer from Command and Conquer Generals. So yeah, that's the thing. And I bet you if you have like an Apple one or whatever, they're still listening in and selling your data to other things. So I reckon no matter which companies you buy stuff from, I reckon you're being spied from. It's just spied on. It's just, is that information being sent to a state actor or just, you know, a privately owned company? Yeah, hopefully I should be on tomorrow. Oh, Ohio Uncle, you came on just as I'm going off. Nearly all the Command and Conquers are strangely prophetic, and the Armor games, because Armor 2 is the one that's basically the exact same scenario as what's going on in Ukraine right now. But again, I suppose that's because Russia does the same fucking modus operandi with every neighbouring country, isn't it? Oh no, the ethnic Russians are being oppressed. Oh look, we sent the troops in and we just happened to try and take over your country. PC, VR is quite niche. Well, I've got a couple of VR headsets, and VR is good fucking fun. There's way less games for it, and you need more space than just playing stuff on PC. You're my favourite British person. Thank you, I guess. Anyway, I am off, like I said, because sadly, people sort of trickle in and out of these, and I've been on over an hour. But annoyingly, yeah, even though I've got the nice webcam and I've got the nice microphone now, this gets less people on this than if I just fucking did this on my phone, because YouTube doesn't share these as well. Probably about 5 p.m. time again. So at the moment it's nearly 6 p.m. in the UK, 17:57. So I'll probably start streaming, if I do a stream tomorrow, around 1700. So very similar time to what I started this stream today, because this is one of those times of day where it's not too early in the day for Americans to come on. It's not too late in the day necessarily for people in bits of Asia or like Australia or whatever to come on. So yeah, the reason I normally do around this time of day is because people in various time zones can. It's late in Asia, yeah, but sometimes Hype is still on these streams, even though he's in China. So you know, like I said, I sometimes do get Japanese people and that tune in at this time of day who are you know, up late. So like I said, there's never a perfect time of day to do a stream, because you're always going to be in a bad time zone for somebody. If I do it 5 p.m. time, that's the time most people finish work in the UK, even if they're not home yet. And it's, you know, if in a traditional 9-to-5 job, and it's the time when some Americans will be up. And again, it depends which coast they're on and different time zones in America. East Coast to West Coast, different times, but yes. Or if you're in the middle of America, I guess you're halfway between both, but Eastern time and Pacific time and whatever. But anyway, yeah, I will be off, and I just thought with this and the hat, I'm kind of like Field Marshal Goering, aren't I? I'm not fat enough though. I need a white suit, and then I can shoot up some morphine like he did, non-stop, and then go on Nuremberg trials. Anyway, I will see everybody hopefully tomorrow, and I will hopefully do, like I said, a video and a stream tomorrow. So the video I'll do earlier in the day and just upload when it's filmed, and the stream will be about this sort of time. Right, have a good day, everybody. See you all, and if you don't see me, it's probably because I've been sent to the Gulag by the Stormtroopers for speaking dangerous truths in Britain, where, you know, it's dangerous to be right when the government is wrong. So there you go. Goodbye.